Well, I'm pretty sure this one's been beat to death on YouTube, but since I'm doing it, I'm going to go ahead and show it anyway. I'm going to make some Charcloth. The almighty Altoids can, boy, you got to have one of those. I've never used one of these for making Charcloth. I hope it's sealed up tight enough around the edge. But basically you just take and get a nice airtight can, as airtight as possible. Poke a small hole in the center to let the smoke escape. Take your Charcloth, which should be 100% cotton, and what I do is I try to make it the shape of the can that I'm putting it in and make it fill it loosely. If you put too much in there, sometimes it won't all get done, but usually if you let it keep cooking, it'll eventually get done. I pre-cut mine into the size I want to use. This is roughly the size I want to use, so. There's that. That makes about 6 pieces. Just put those in there. I don't really like it when it squishes up on the edge, but it'll work. It'll work fine. Get it all in there nice and tight. I like to have it as loose in there once I get it in there, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. All I'm going to do is use this piece of baling twine that I had to secure around my little pot, like this. I just took it off of my one pot and reconfigured it with a little hook on there, kind of like a little spiral hook, so I can put it in there like that. That way it'll hang, and I got something to pull it out of the fire with, and just drop it down in there. I'm going to get it right down in these coals. I want it to burn good. Let it cook away, it'll start smoking, and once it's done smoking, it's Charcloth. And that's pretty much it. I gotta stoke my fire up again here. I'll go ahead and do that, and when the Charcloth's done, I guess I'll do a quick video to show you that it's done, but it's a pretty basic thing. Today was the first time I actually used Charcloth to start a fire, and it worked good. It's a real windy day, or it was, and the Charcloth takes a spark real easy. All you need is one tiny spark. I've even taken my lighter and flicked it. Just the spark from the lighter alone ignited the Charcloth, so it's pretty good stuff, and it's already starting to smoke. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, I guess you can. Oh yeah, it's smoking away nice. I'll just let that keep smoking till it stops, and it's Charcloth, and I guess that's pretty much it. I really can't explain any more about that. But it's nice to have, you know, especially if you can't find dry tinder like the other day. I had a hard time finding dry tinder. Okay, now it actually flamed up from around the edge, which is what I figured because that edge isn't sealed tight enough. I'm going to go ahead and blow that out because it's best if that doesn't happen. And I'll get back to you when it's finished. Alright, well, it's been in there a good long time now. I went around the edge of the pond there and tried to catch a couple fish, but they just ain't cooperating. So once it's done smoking, just pull it out of there and let it sit and cool off good. If you don't let it cool off completely, as soon as you open that canister, it'll ignite and all your Charcloth will burn away to nothing. So you need to let it cool off completely before you open it. And if you try to open it when it's real hot, you're probably going to burn your fingers. Wah wah. This thing, I don't know, man. Mag bar. This says Cochran's. I think it says Cochran's, made in the USA. The package that it came in said made in Canada though, so that's kind of odd. But I've had absolutely no luck with this. The magnesium shavings, they ignite so fast and they burn away so quick, it's hard to get anything to light with them. I know people do use these and they work, but I think they suck. This is more or less just a rant because I can't get the thing to work. I think I got a bum ferrocerium rod with it, because this ferrocerium rod will not throw sparks at all whatsoever. I've tried every type of metal material I have. I even used the striker that came with my Strike Force rod, and it won't put no sparks out whatsoever, not even the tiniest little spark. And I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I've pretty much wore that ferrocerium rod right down in the center, trying to strike it over and over again, and I never get a spark. So I don't know if sometimes you get a dud ferrocerium rod or what, but I will keep it around just in case, you know, maybe I need to shave some shavings off there and try to get some wet tinder to light or something. But I won't be using that rod that came with it. I'll be using my other ferrocerium rod. It could be that it's such a small diameter rod that it's hard to get a spark, but I've wore it down enough now that I have a wide area. It should throw a spark, and it don't. So that's the end of my rant for that. When this cools off, I'll open it up and see if we made some Charcloth. Well, that's it. I finished up my soup and let this here Charcloth cool off. Let's see if it turned out. Yeah, it turned out good. See how that kind of fell apart? It was a little ashed up because this can didn't quite seal all the way, but it's still good. It'll still work, and it got done all the way through. See, this piece on the bottom didn't get sooted up. It should still feel like cloth. I mean, it should still tear like cloth. Obviously, it's going to tear a lot easier, but you should still see the texture of the threads and stuff in there. And that's the only thing I do to know that it's good. I just look at it and make sure it's not all ashed up, and make sure that it's blackened up all the way through, and that's it. I'll just kind of clean this, wipe this off real good, and I'm good to go. If you want, you can take and heat a little wax or something and cover that hole. But in reality, this container isn't airtight to begin with, so it's probably not going to help you much. But it is nice to have it in a container that will stay completely dry. And what I will do with this now is I have another container that actually has a screw-on lid. It's the container that came with the Craftsman Premier pellets. It has a screw-on lid, and the top of it has a piece of foam, so when you seal it up, it's pretty much airtight, and that works good to keep it sealed up and away from moisture and stuff. But that's it, Charcloth. Doesn't take any time to make, but it sure is helpful if you can't find a good tinder. I always like to have, you know, a few different ways to start fire. And another thing I carry, which I've never really had to use them, is a thing of rolling papers, because they're really fine paper, and sometimes you could, you know, use that in a pinch if you need to start a fire. I don't know, lots of different things. But my fire's finally died out. I'm gonna go ahead and bury this all in now. My Dakota fire hole worked pretty good. I mean, I made chaga tea, then I made some rice soup, which turned out really good, and then I went ahead and made some charcloth. It's let's see, what time is it? Well, it's like 5:30 now, and I think I got out here around maybe 11:30, 12. I think I got my fire going around noon. So a very small amount of wood, and that fire burned for a good 5 hours. I'm impressed. Albeit smoky, and I did have to tend to it a lot. It did its job, and didn't require a lot of wood, which is a good thing. And it was really easy cooking over it too. I think I had an easier time cooking over it than I did an open fire. Nobody will even know it was there. That patch of ground was already bare from somebody who had a fire prior to this, or from people walking on it, I don't know. But I just buried it right back in, stomped it down, threw some loose dirt over the top, and kind of brushed over it a little bit with some leafy branches, and poof, it's gone. Nice and clean, the way it was when I got here. Only difference is now I can come back here and dig it out real quick, because those roots are all gone. I know right where it's at. I can dig it out quick and do it again when I'm finished, covered up. Nobody's the wiser. You know, I do most of the stuff I do on state, and well, pretty much state land. And I try to leave things the way they were when I got there, you know, because there's other people that use the resource besides me. And one thing I hate when I walk out is finding old pop bottles and big old fire pits with cans and stuff in them, and stuff like this right here. Subway, eat fresh and throw your litter all over the place so other people can look at it. But that's it. I'm gonna wrap it up and get on out of here. Talk to you later.